At 9:47 p.m., her message came through. Business conference extended. Be home next week. I stared at the screen for a long moment before replying, slowly, carefully. Don't rush. The divorce conference just started here. 2 minutes later, her answer appeared. 3 words. Please don't. That was the sound of a liar realizing she'd run out of places to hide. We'd met 6 years earlier, at a seminar in Chicago. She'd arrived halfway through my talk, hair damp from rain, apologizing as our eyes met. For reasons I couldn't explain, I believed her apology. Maybe that was the start of everything. My weakness for sincerity that wasn't real. Back then, she laughed easily, brightly, like her laughter could sweep away doubt. I thought we were the same, 2 ambitious professionals chasing a shared future. She was my reflection, or so I thought. But mirrors, I later learned, don't show truth. They only show what you want to believe. The first crack appeared last winter. A perfume I didn't recognize clung to her coat. Sharp, floral, foreign. Gift from a client, she said with a smile. I nodded. I didn't push. You don't catch a snake by stomping. You wait. Then came the late-night calls. She said it was work stress. I let it slide. My father once told me, when you suspect betrayal, don't confront. Observe. So I watched. Patterns emerged like frost on glass. Slowly, quietly. Her trips grew longer, her excuses smoother. Her phone, once left face up, began lying face down. And then, by accident, I knew. Her iPad pinged while she showered, same tone as her phone. She'd forgotten they were synced. One message was all it took. Last night was perfect. Can't wait for next weekend. Same hotel. The name beneath it. Daniel. The CFO. Married, of course. Predictably married. When I read it, the silence in the room was absolute. No rage, no heartbreak. Just stillness, like the world had stopped exhaling. That's when I realized the change wasn't hers. It was mine. Over the next 2 months, I made plans. Not for revenge, at least, not in the beginning. Just for clarity. But clarity can turn sharp when you hold it too long. We shared accounts, assets, a mortgage. She liked managing the finances, so I let her, while quietly moving pieces into place. A new account here. A signature there. Business reasons, I'd said, when asking for power of attorney. She barely looked up from her phone before signing. Meanwhile, I collected proof, photos, receipts, emails. I even hired a private investigator under the guise of corporate due diligence. It was fitting, really, auditing the slow death of my own marriage. When everything was in place, I did the one thing she'd never anticipate. I pretended nothing had changed. I kissed her goodbye at airports, sent her goodnight texts, and smiled when her conferences coincidentally lined up with Daniel's. Liars grow comfortable inside their fictions. You just have to let them think you're still part of their story. 3 nights ago, I filed for divorce. Quietly, methodically. My attorney, sharp as a blade in a custom suit, called it one of the most airtight cases he'd ever handled. Infidelity, deceit, hidden accounts, all tied neatly together. I'd constructed it piece by piece, every document, every signature, a step toward closure. This morning, while she was still at her so-called conference, Daniel's wife opened an email from an anonymous sender. Inside, photos, messages, hotel invoices, undeniable proof. By noon, Daniel was suspended pending an internal investigation. By evening, his wife had packed up the kids and left. As for me, I was in our kitchen, coffee in hand, watching the scrolling news ticker. Senior executive under investigation for misconduct. I didn't smile out of joy. It was satisfaction. The calm sense that everything was finally in order. Her text arrived later. Conference extended. Home next week. She didn't know her keycard had already been deactivated. The locks had been changed that afternoon. Her designer clothes, jewelry, and shoes, all boxed, labeled, and stacked neatly in the garage. Movers come tomorrow. Everything left inside now belongs to me, both by law and by right. My reply was simple: no rush. The divorce conference just started here. She'd understand the double meaning. She always prided herself on her intelligence, but intelligence isn't the same as foresight. Her answer came 2 minutes later. Please don't. It wasn't love she was afraid of losing, it was her reputation. She knew Daniel's career was already in ashes. She knew she was next. I can picture her now, sitting alone in some hotel lobby, hands trembling over her phone, finally realizing that the watcher had become the watched. That's the elegance of revenge. It doesn't need anger, only patience. Tomorrow morning, the divorce filing becomes public. Her firm will learn about the falsified business trips, the reimbursement claims that funded her little escapes. My lawyer will forward the evidence to HR. Clean, verifiable, devastating. It's not malice. It's precision. Every lie leaves a footprint, and I simply followed hers to the end. I used to believe marriage was built on trust. Now I know it's built on leverage. She'll call, of course, plead, bargain, maybe cry, but I won't pick up. Forgiveness, I've come to realize, is just surrender dressed up as virtue. And I have no interest in surrendering. When she finally returns, she'll find the house stripped bare of her life, except for one thing. The honeymoon photo, cracked straight through the middle, waiting on the kitchen counter. Beneath it, a note. Next time you fall in love, make sure it's not with someone who keeps receipts. I used to think endings were noisy, shouting, slammed doors, tears. But real endings are quiet, clean, surgical. When love rots from within, you don't mourn it. You dissect it. And when the dissection is complete, you write your own epitaph. Please don't. She should have thought of that sooner.